welcome to Expert View, and I'm joined by Nagappan from Master the Markets. In a very pivotal time, we saw silver, gold, cuckoo bananas. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this is a show when we get you the long and short of it, the long-term investment plays and the short-term as well. So welcome to the show. It's so great to have you on now that we've got this fancy chair, fancy setup.
Yeah, I did see that when I came in, and I said you've done an amazing job really reshaping this studio. It's great to be back again, Angeline.
Yeah. Every single time you come on, I notice as well that the things that you want to talk about start moving quite rapidly. So, did you plan this? So, let's start with the shorter term investment plays first. So, you like Bitcoin, you like Tesla, and Nvidia. So, let's start with Bitcoin because that is moving slightly higher now.
Yeah, so what we do, Angeline, and for the traders watching in, right? So we look quickly at the trends across different time frames, okay? Because I think whatever chart you look at, you're looking only for two things mainly to enter, isn't it? In terms of entry, which is one is direction bias, where you want to go long or short. There's only two options, or you sit on your hands, right?
Yeah.
Which is one of the biggest things where you can preserve your capital.
I like looking at getting out as well.
Yeah, and there you go, right? So the first thing is first enter, then only you can get out, right? So the entry is first on direction bias. The second thing is then you look at timing. Where do you exactly want to get in, right? So what I do with the help of our clients who have quantified all these tops and bottoms, given us a framework. I talked about it in the last one, so I don't want to go too much into detail into that, but I can see immediately over the time frames that, you know, over here on Bitcoin, that's a clear downtrend on the daily, right? And I'm looking at short term, so I use lower time frames now. So I'm looking at downtrend here, and it's quite clear. In the 4 hour, you see, I've got a downtrend as well here, right? And then on the 1 hour, I've got another downtrend as well. And then if I want to take a little bit more short term, but you see, the first thing is very clear now, right? Which is I am looking for a short. The direction bias is clear. Now, the second thing then, as I said, is timing, isn't it? Where do I exactly want to get into here? I can quickly see that using also volume here as well. Some of you are using volume. There's an elephant in the room, right? It's quite obvious, right? What that says is, you know what? This retracement that is going on here in that downtrend, which we call a phase 2, right? Wait for it patiently before it comes back down again, right? So I'll look at a few more things to time myself. So I'm in timing right now, right? I don't just jump in, short it, and then as it goes against me, I'm just hoping and guessing that it's going to come back down again.
I love this because most people, when there's so much volatility, it's really timing, right?
Exactly.
That is the most frustrating thing, when to re-enter and not re-enter too soon. And I'm sure some of you know quite a few people who have re-entered a bit too soon in terms of the silver and gold correction that we've seen recently.
Just on that point that you just say re-enter too soon, or or enter even too soon and hoping and guessing, all this happens because you see I'm now on the 15-minute time frame over here, right? And you can see that is showing an uptrend at the moment, yeah? So all that means is, you see, all my higher time frames are pointing to the downside, just as you all saw right now. But on the 15-minute, it's showing on the upside, right? So all I got to do now is put out technical levels where I want to get in. That's where the timing is, so that then finally the 15-minute shorter time frame aligns to the higher time frames, basically. And where are those levels over here? I know we were talking a little bit about 1 minute and all that just now as well.
Ooh, I love the 1 minute. It makes some of our other analysts, break out in a rash. But I do like it as a signal.
Yeah, I mean, I know a group of traders who do that.
You can tell me you hate it. You know that.
No, you see, that's not my personality usually. Right, very quick in, quick out. Because I like my freedom of time. We'll talk a little bit about that just now. If you've got time later, we'll talk about that. Freedom of time. But so that's why I don't really like to stick to the 1 minute. But if you guys got a lot of time, I mean, go for it, right? I mean, but other than that, if I look on the 15-minute here, if I want to just draw one technical level where this will come in a downtrend, is that one there, 74,769. Or another one is when it does this. When it does a compression, doesn't take out its last high, and then it comes back down, and that's another one I can start to look in as well. So these are the things that they can wait for on Bitcoin.
Nice. The Bitcoin chart, just looking at the daily here, what this is also telling me is that overall we are still seeing an overall technical bias, bearish bias in the shorter term. Bitcoin also has, I talk a lot about personality of different instruments, because I think every instrument has its own personality.
Of course.
Right? You need to really get to know that instrument. Not everything trades the same way. You can't invest in everything expecting it to move the same way as each other. And I've made these circles here for you to look at a bit clearer. And each time we have this circle, I know loads of people in the market say, oh, it's over now, it's over for Bitcoin, right? We see that in the second circle as well. And it came back up again. And in this third, most recent circle, we had, you know, the murmurings of, oh, it's the end for Bitcoin, oh, it's the end.
We've heard that so many times,
we've
haven't
heard
we?
it so many times. It's unbelievable. But right now, I mean, are you seeing a potential turn? Because in this daily chart, I'm seeing price action cut through that rectangular area of interest. And to me, if it breaks below and continues further, we can see further pain to come.
See, some of your clients, all those rectangles, I've seen them in fair value gap kind of strategies, right? So yes, it's cutting through all of that, but I'll tell you something contrarian, because you see, very important is how long you're going to be in the trade. Okay, based on how long you're going to be in the trade, your direction bias will change. What I talked about was short term, where you enter and exit maybe within the day, right? And if you're talking about 1 minute, you just exit within few minutes, right? But you see, what you just showed just now is a daily time frame, right? And if you were to ask my bias on the longer term perspective of things, it's still looking amazingly towards the upside. So if I were to show this to the viewers over here, and to be very honest, I'm actually looking at my second position into Bitcoin for the longer term. So if you look at the monthly chart, this is very clear. You see, it's in a nice uptrend, but it's in a retracement phase, which is the uptrend phase 2 here, counter trend. But this, if you're not able to correlate it properly, is what is showing on the lower time frames as a downtrend. And that's what the media goes on hyping about, right? It's the end of Bitcoin and all of that. Yeah. And that's what we looked at last time in silver, where I told you also where to trail your stop, and you had a nice ride as well.
It's the exact moment was when THIRU'S said, this is an outlier, Ange. We've never seen this before. I was like, right, sell. Just take it off, take it off, all of it off right now.
But at the same time, you know, we said, you know what, let's have a balance, let's trail it. And then if it writes a bit more, and you got a bit more of that move as well, didn't you?
Yes,
so
I did.
But you know, I'm looking at the Bitcoin weekly as well. So that's also showing a downtrend. So for the monthly to take over, we will wait a little bit, and that's why I'm telling you that for the short term, it's on the downside, if you guys want to take any shorts. But on the long term, if you want to hold it for months and years, it's still looking good on the upside. If it does take out this level here, which is on the monthly 49,000, then that is some concern.
That's nice, because that ties in with, as an analyst, that ties in with what I would choose as my swing low too. And so if it takes that out, then that's the kicker.
Exactly. And above all of that, Angeline, we've discussed this in the last session as well. Okay, entry is important because it determines how much you make at the end. But then again, it's paired with exit, right? Your good friend, okay, enter and exit. And I think that's the thing that people need to focus on. And I talked about it in the last session. I don't want to take up too much time, but the tables that we've generated here, and we're the only company which shows probabilities, by the way, probability stats. And trading should be based on probabilities. So this tells you how much move is left on a probability basis. And then based on that, you can design different strategies for your strategy portfolio to take advantage of different moves.
Nvidia, another big one.
Right,
Given we are on the cusp of a big tech week, let's have a look at Nvidia. Overall technical bias here at the moment, in my humble opinion, still looking, you know, in terms of days to weeks, bullish. But you are looking at a different time frame. Talk us through your time frame.
Yeah, let me just do that. Let me just change it from Amazon to Nvidia here.
I mean, whilst you bring up Nvidia, it's got its nose right now above the 20, 50, 100 and 200 EMA. It's just touching the 20, but not anything to be alarmed about in my view.
Let's do it. So you see, I've got Nvidia charts here at the moment. So if you take a look over here, again, I do the same thing, right? We do the same mantra again. Good trading is always boring.
It is. Boring is sexy.
Exactly, right? So if you look at the daily time frame with the framework that we have designed, and this indicator was built in the 1960s or 70s. We were very lucky and fortunate that we met the mentor's mentor that taught us all these formulas, and it still works. I mean, it gives you clarity. That's all it is. It's not a holy grail. It gives you clarity. So on the daily, this is uptrend, right? Phase one. Now let me just go into the shorter ones. So the 4 hour, let's take a look at that. On the 4 hour, it's still looking healthy towards the upside as well. As you would see as it populates. There you go, uptrend phase one as well. So that's what we usually do, even on our Wednesday live streams that we do when we're going through intraday stuff. This is the exact same thing we do. We check across different time frames. And I think this is missing a lot with traders.
So what time frame is that now? You went from the 4 hour
to the 1 hour.
Okay.
Right? So you can see there was a little bit of a bump, of course, with the noise and everything. But you can see that it's bounced back up again, right? And that's again on the uptrend phase two. Now, I love this ones because when they're in the uptrend phase two, that's when you can start to position yourself to catch that turning point where it becomes a phase one, right? And you ride the momentum, right? So that's what we should be looking at. And then 15 minute, I usually look at to time myself to enter inside. Nice one there, elephant in the room. You can see that volume spike over there coming in. So over
and
here.
the nice thing is, for those of you watching this, we have exactly all those time frames on the IG platform as well.
There you go, right? So, so when you look at it like that, and I can see that you see on the 15 minute, this is what I love, right? Because now it's a downtrend phase two, according to our framework over here, right? If you connect those lines, and you see because the higher time frames are all in the uptrend. Now, and I'm getting an elephant in the room with the volume over here as well, designed by the Trade Guider team, you can see that one level that I will look to get in is as it takes out this high over here, right? Let me see the exact high level over there, 191.92, right? So when it takes that out, this trend will change to an uptrend, and that's when I will get in.
Just to clarify, because we have a huge number of very, very capable people on the technical front watching. So when you say take it out, do you have certain rules? Does it have to have a close above? Does it have to have half the candle above?
Very good question. So, you know, the first thing we look at is we need strength, right? So you see, you can also take out the high, but do this eventually, then it comes and closes lower, isn't it? So that's a weak one. If you're not comfortable doing that, then you put it on the opposite of that seller bar. If you want to see some strength, if it was a fake, right? Or if you're just retesting. Now, of course, if it's a strong buying into it, then you just enter on. To be honest, I've seen this quite a few times because my confidence comes from the higher time frames, right? So what I would do, I'll just put a pending order and I'll just take it as it breaks out. My stop actually for the low over here, for the swing low.
Right.
And then I would just wait. Even if the volatility happens, we just wait through it because we know how it moves. And that's what all these tables at the bottom is telling you. So not only tells you where to exit based on your strategy objective, whether it's a scalping strategy. If it's a scalping strategy, I go for the 90% probability, which I talked about in the last session that I did with you. And then if you want midterm, I look for the 50-60% level, which is about 1 ATR. And if I look for big runners, I look for about 3.75. And you can play around with this because our clients actually coded all of this, actually, Angeline.
Oh.
Yeah, they got so inspired by this, by listening to one of the interviews that I did. And they say, you know what, Thiru, I want to work with you and I want to code this entire thing. And I'm very happy to say that actually as of last year, our coding team has actually increased and all is our clients. Yeah, it's really amazing. So we can see that the product is really, working in real time, and people are seeing confidence out of it.
Tesla is the other one that you want to look at.
Yeah, let's go for that. So Nvidia is still looking healthy, as we say.
So Tesla is a really interesting one because I have a love-hate relationship with Tesla.
All right.
I do have a position, very long-term, in Tesla. This is in the Ong pension.
I've got that as well.
But in terms of a shorter time frame, it's not one that I take position in because I find that so much of Tesla is down to things that have not been delivered yet, right? So like the humanoid, right? The whole SpaceX Mars thing that Elon Musk keeps talking about. I find there's too much noise from my liking. And actually, most people who trade this don't get the fact that this is not about the EVs. It's really not about the EVs. It's about the promise. And because I am sexy is boring, it's very difficult for me to take a position in short term.
True, I agree. And the usual thing that you usually hear is that Tesla is very volatile, and the usual. Yes, when you're playing short term because you're dealing with noise. And also not only noise, but you're looking for something reproducible, isn't it, Angeline? Because not everybody, you see, human psychology is such that if I place one trade on Tesla and I, let's say, made $10,000 within like 1 hour or 2 hours, the human mind is such that it's just not going to stop over there, is it?
No.
You're just going to think like, oh man, this is so easy, right? And it wants to take again, and it thinks that it will just happen again. And that is when it all goes pear-shaped. Because the reproducibility is the problem. Right? So in terms of short term, if you do want to do it, listen, the reason why we look at frameworks and some kind of stats and all that is for consistency, because everybody's after consistent performance. What you do not want, you see, I had another client, like very successful entrepreneur. He had about 700,000 employees in his office. But he was putting crazy positions on the S&P. So he would make $500,000 in 1 month, and then the next month he would lose 750,000.
Yes.
Right? And the reason for that, you see, that's why most people are really looking for consistent performance. And for that, you need to build the strategy with an edge that is sustainable, scalable, and reproducible.
And suits your style.
Exactly. You nailed it, right? Fits your personality. So based on all of that, that's why we look at the trend first, the direction first, some kind of consistency, some kind of a system, some kind of a framework that keeps reproducing. So on Tesla, if you're looking over here, on the daily, it's telling me it's a downtrend at the moment, right? So
and
then
it's stuck in a channel.
Correct, right? Now, I just want to quickly, just out of curiosity, I think I saw this on the weekly. Yes, it's still in an uptrend. You see, look at that, right? So we're just going to be wary of that. It's in an uptrend phase 2. It's in a retracement phase, which is a good thing for long-term investors, which is like myself. I would look to position myself for the next leg up, right? When this shows signals of turning up again. So for that, I usually look at the smaller time frames if I want to go up. But if you see you want to play short in the short term, let's go and take a look at the 4 hour, what it says also. Let's see, I can quickly see some elephant in the room's volume again, volume spiking up. There you go, you see, it's a downtrend phase 1. These setups I really like, Angeline. You see when you get a buyer bar in a downtrend, right? And that's when I like to see, you know what, is this a fake? They're faking people out. And I like to put my order on the opposite of the buyer bar.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as it's not too far off from the swing high. So we look at a few more things. Now, the other thing is, let me go on the 1 hour. Let me just quickly look at the downtrend here as well. As that's loading up, most of the time I always tell people that, the first thing that you need to always look at, what's the objective of your strategy? Is it going to be very small targets but wins a large percentage of the time, 90%? Or is it going to be a long runner strategy? But for long runners, you got to accept volatility.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
you need to bite on a stick.
Exactly, right? It's not going to go straight down, towards your target. Yes, it happens 5% of the time, but don't think it'll keep happening again and again. So you got to accept volatility if you're going to ride the move, okay? And you need to understand volatility very deep. And actually, all our stats over here actually tells you that as well, the volatility. We've studied it very, very deeply. Now, over here, on the 1 hour again, you see, is a downtrend. This is a good one. It just confirmed over there, right? So if I correlate with my higher time frames, my only concern is that on the 1 hour, there was a buyer bar. And if that's going to finish the retracement, But other than that, if they want to take a small trade on this, what I would look at is for this hour, that's 1 o'clock, isn't it? So if it closes a bit lower there, then I would use one of these stats over here, which is 1 ATR. 1 ATR of that is about $6. So I would minus $6 from there. I'll take a short trade towards the downside of that swing, because it tells me over here that on a probability basis, it's got about 60-65% chance of getting that. I usually add another 10% because of all the other parameters that we are using. Now, the last one I'll take a look at is a 15-minute. Right, again, I can see some volume spikes all over here. This one I like. You know what this says? Is that as it's rising up, there's volume spikes here, right? All that is telling you is that that is a top that is due, especially when you get rising volume in a buyers, buyer after buyer.
So
right?
I like that, and my way of explaining that is people are consistently arriving at the party.
Correct. Right? Professional selling is slowly discarding off their positions that they bought from the beginning. And that proves over here, you see, the downside over here. But now, I believe, I'm looking at it, it will do a little bit of retracement, right? Maybe not take out this high yet, and then it will come back further down. This is something that you can look for as in the day or as for future setups, you know.
Longer term, you like this stock, don't you? Longer term, you are bullish Tesla.
Yes.
So talk us through that, because as I said, it's a lot of noise, and the stock is based on promises, delayed promises by Musk himself. Talk us through your theory.
You see, my thing is not very complicated, Angeline, okay? One is technicals, but technicals can only go this far. It can't really project for you.
Yes, which is why I always say it should work hand in hand with fundamentals.
Right, exactly, right? You see, because when you're talking about investment, and if your objective is to hold it for 10, 15 years, or when it hits a certain price, when you hit a certain X monetary amount, then you take out that money. You see, when you look at all of that, right, technicals can help you maybe a little bit of time. But is it going to sustain this stock, you know, for the long run? My first thing is always, let's minimize risk. Okay, what's the probability of Tesla going to zero? Most of us would say it's very quite low. That's the first point, right? Because all over, tell me one guy in the whole world that doesn't know Elon Musk right now.
Yeah.
Because of all the disruptive marketing that they did.
Everyone knows Tesla.
Right, and all the disruptive marketing that they did, he and Trump, all these arguments. So that's one first thing. The probability of it going to zero is very low. The second thing is, when you really look at the technology, I think you nailed it just a bit earlier. You said it's just not about the EVs.
No.
It's just not about the electric vehicles. And that's what Cathy Woods, also a reference, says as well. Says that if you really go deeper, the tech that he has done is really far ahead than anyone else out there.
Oh, God, you're going to start talking to me about sci-fi and space and...
But you know what? Even more than that, if you even look at a simplistic point of view, you know, I'm still driving a Tesla. I was driving a Tesla before. But if you see what it's doing beyond the electric vehicles, it's basically, firstly, it's a computer on wheels.
Yeah.
But the objective of it really, before everyone else, what he did, Mercedes-Benz and BMW, was collecting data.
Exactly. And he's cut that deal with China as well.
There you go, right?
To buy all of their data there. And I read a huge amount, because I know lots of people in San Francisco, about how this data will also help in the, have you heard about the moving iron dome?
No, I haven't heard that one.
So along with the data that it can get from cars, so i.e. surveillance too, and also from Starlink and all that linked up with potentially drones in the future, that gives it a wide reach to build a dome for protecting, right? Just like the Iron Dome in Israel, but this one's, you can move it, right? So Pakistan and India suddenly gets really hot. They go, well, we want an Iron Dome right here, right? And the premise is, you know, he has a tech to mobilize that very quickly.
Crazy stuff. You see, this is the thing. Whenever I talk about stuff like this, and I keep learning new things which reiterate the point that his tech is just beyond. Like, how many other companies like has got Iron Dome?
Well, there's no data yet that I can find anyway. But you're right. Who has come up with this idea?
But this is exactly what I'm saying. It's just far ahead, and that's what Cathy Woods also has seen. And she's actually projecting that it would just be the largest tech company. And I know she's always known for her crazy investments, but she always still wins in the long run, and she makes her investors happy.
Speaking of which, we've got gold and silver and also S&P and Brent to get through. So let's quickly talk about that because gold has been fascinating.
Yes, gold is...
the volatility is insane. I've never seen it before in all my years in trading.
Gold is the biggest topic, isn't it?
You know, I mean, like silver, I wasn't surprised, right? We talked about it on Thursday and Friday.
That's right.
But gold was just off the charts.
But you know, with gold, we've been observing it for quite some time, right? And you know, where my concerns about gold came, I think it's on the same principle that simple principle, okay, nothing can go in a straight line forever. Okay, it's
trees don't grow into the sky.
Exactly, right? So they move in cycles, don't they, right? So with our framework here that these guys developed of Richard Wyckoff's principles and they quantified it by mentor's mentor, is that if you look at the monthly time frame here, look at this swing, right, Angeline? It's so overextended, right? And the confirmation actually came over here on our framework. And this was in 2023, right? For almost 3 years coming into January, this has gone in one swing.
Yeah, just put it on full screen if we may.
Just do that.
So that our viewers can see it a bit better.
There we go. That should be good. So if you can see that over here, you can see that it's gone in a swing, a bottom to top move for a very long time. It's quite overextended. And when I take a look at also the ATR over here, this is what I was shouting at the last time as well when we looked at silver, right? This is more than like 15 ATR. It's about like almost 25 ATR move. And look at this. In the last history, and I'm getting this data.
Yeah, so how far back does the
yeah, good question. So that's what I'm saying. See, 2010, I've done it from. You can do it even much more earlier, if the broker gives you that. For 16 years, we've got the data for that, right? And then you can see that this has gone on for like 25 years. This has never happened in history. Same as silver. So that's why when it's doing all these big volatile moves, I know that a top is due at some point.
So you need to get out.
That's right, yeah. And then again, if you want to be a long-term investor, of course, it's still an uptrend, so nothing to worry about. Even when it comes down, the uptrend is still intact. So then wait for it to come back up again. You can put your second position in, right? That's on the longer term stuff of things. I just want to quickly take a look on the weekly. Weekly, you see again, right? Still intact uptrend, okay? It's pushing low because it wants to make a top. Let's see if it pushes through. And then the final one is on the daily. I believe in the daily, this will carry down a little bit and then give the media a bit more news, right, to talk about. And then after it does all of that, then it would do its classical compression moves to go back in its upward direction in the higher time frames.
Yeah, and we have questions also from some of our guests about silver. One question for you was a rise in silver, a bubble that needed to pop. I think we have come to a conclusion on that already because it was very overextended. And was the flash crash that started Friday something special? Will we see silver rise back towards $120 over time?
Amazing question. So let's take a look once again. Again, this didn't really surprise us because we were waiting for this anyway. But if you see traders and viewers listening in, look on a monthly, right? This is just mad. I mean, I think it's even more stronger than gold. If you look at the last swing here, if you analyze it on this framework, Angeline, this is mad. Like, I can't even see a seller bar here.
No.
Everything is still a
parabolic.
bar. And look at this big one that everyone talks about, the flash crash, everything about, still closed higher last month. Right? And look at it now, just bouncing back up, like, just within like, what, 1-2 days of this month? And
So to me, that's that signal is that the institutionals are coming back in. Those that know what they're doing are coming back in. One to be aware of for silver is, and I keep reminding people that if you are doing this on intraday, just be aware that it gets more volatile. The tree shakes more for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is, but usually around 2 p.m. London time.
Yeah.
Right? When the US market opens, you get more people coming in. If you want to be in a shorter term time frame, just be aware of that, right?
Absolutely.
Try to avoid that kind of tree shaking.
It's so true. Very well said. I like that terminology. Tree shaking. Yes. Shakeouts.
Right. S&P.
Good. Let's go for that. S&P.
So what is your time frame for this?
I will. You mean for silver or for S&P?
For S&P.
For S&P, let me take a look.
Before I forget, silver, yes. Are we going to get back to $120?
I believe a bit more in the long run.
Yeah. How long is long?
I am, looking for maybe...
What are
this is the thing, the time to say is always a bit difficult to say how long. But I would definitely say within the next 6 months or within this year, definitely. But you would definitely see some short-term moves to the downside in the short term, just because of the top. It's just overdue. That's pretty much that. But that's just short-term volatility, right?
Right. So S&P 500. Let's have a look at that. Give us your time frame and how you are looking for entry into this.
Right. So let's take a look at the long term. I mean, that'd be important because for some people who are looking into stocks and long-term investors. Again, I've seen on the S&P, right? The first thing. Okay. So the same thing is repeating again here, right? So you can see that this swing here is very long and overextended, right? When I take a look at the stats table also at the bottom here, I can see that this is quite a little bit of an outlier over here as well. Let me just do the OE over here very quickly, taking over 260 trades. Okay, so let me just do a bigger one here. I was just checking also on silver just now as well, that on the monthly chart has never done such a big swing ever before in the last 16 years. It tells you something about the macroeconomics as well, what's going on. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, what is it telling us about, the public's view of central banks, of governments?
More than the public, it's something, you see, big moves like that only can be driven by professionals, isn't it, Angeline? Right, some institutions really.
The big fish.
Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, then the crowd just follows through. What it's telling you is something, which is quite a bit disturbing, which is the whole economics going to change of the world, because no matter what you're seeing on the index, yes, it's going higher. What the commodity is telling you that people are just, the big guys, the big fish, not having confidence anymore in the system. And the metals are never broken out this.
No.
I mean, they've talked about it for many years. Gold is the real money, silver, why is it? But now look at the burst out. I mean, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
So S&P, right, coming back in here again. So you know what? Very big, long, overextended move. This is the thing I would caution people to look at. Look at this, right? So at this point, all the media was saying, you know what, S&P is falling, probably will be correcting and all that. But look at the big bounce back over here. And I was talking to another client on how to position yourself on this for continuation or for reversals. And I went through a whole step-by-step process on that. But still, look at that resilience, and it's taken out that high and it's still going up high. Look at that last bar here on the monthly, still again pushing up higher, right? But a caution, which I would say, is that again, it's never done this amount of a swing, according to our stats table. It goes towards here, never done it, 0%. So what I would say in the near term, if you do see a give back, don't panic. For a longer term perspective, it's just doing a phase 2 of its uptrend, right? A counter trend move. But here's another thing I can quickly look as well. Weekly, look at that. It's doing a compression here. Look at the moves, right? It's really struggling to move up.
And in normal markets, we wait for a retracement. But given it's so abnormal at the moment, are you still telling your clients wait for a retracement or just enter once it breaks out?
Again, as I said, it depends on which perspective you're looking at. If you're looking for really long term, wait for the retracement, right? Why would I go in at such an overextended move. I want to get a bargain, right?
Yeah.
You're traders.
Yeah.
You're investors, right?
Yeah.
You want your rate of return to be good as well. You don't be waiting for what, 5-10 years for your 10,000, 100,000 to turn into 200, 300. So do a little bit of timing. You can't get it exact, but do your best on it.
Yeah.
That's for the longer term. But for the shorter term, I would say, you know what, wait for some signals towards the downside for that top on the monthly and the weekly, you know, to turn around. First level, I would look at, Angeline, definitely for this low to be taken out. If that is not being taken out, I'm not seeing any sign of weakness, which is 6521, right? And if I go on daily a little bit, let me see if the daily is still holding true, or is it starting to show towards the downside here? I think, yeah, I can definitely see one thing over here. Look at all these tops. They're not really going very far.
No.
It did take out the last low, but it's come back in again. So this, again, you see, this is what I'll be observing again.
See, that to me, to an untrained eye like yours, it shows me that there is some exhaustion. And it may be heading higher, but it's being held back.
Exactly, that's right, yeah. And 6789, as I said, would be the level I'll be looking at if it does go further down below that for the short term. But for the longer term, still the monthlies and the weeklies look still good.
And Brent, last but not least, let's have a look at that. Given we have one eye on what's happening over in the Middle East.
I believe that in our last session, I think I did talk about Brent to you guys, and I've been telling that, I've been watching that very closely, because I've been looking for a move to the upside, right? So let me talk you guys through that at the moment. So if I put this a bit bigger on the screen, there we go. Function FPL, I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, you are. Much better than I am.
Right, so
Here we go.
so here you see the last change in trend. We call it a trend change. Some people call it market behavior change.
I call it change of character.
Change of character. Oh, there you go. That's another one.
Hey.
You know, if you want to do abbreviations, it's called CHOC, right? Change of character.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it took out this level here, at 6400, around there, that's when the trend change, the CHOC happened, right? On the daily time frame. So it's really on a strong upside at the moment. But I will caution people to look at what's happening also with the volume, right? Volume is like the fuel in the car, isn't it? Okay. If the fuel in the car is going low, but the guy is still accelerating, then you know something wrong is going to happen.
Yeah.
So as you can see over here, rising volume over here, in an up move, then that's when you know that there's some weakness in strength going to happen. The professionals are starting to sell that move. I like to correlate that with the higher time frames. So a short-term top is due, I would say. On the weekly, this is showing your classical compression move, right? So it hasn't taken out the last high. So it's showing a lower high, but here's the critical thing. And even if this is one thing the viewers take away, Angeline, this would be a very big one, right? Which what we call the test or the compression. So if you look, the next thing what it did, it made a lower high, yes, downtrend, but look, it came back all the way down, and this is what we as professionals look at. Is it going to take out this last low or not?
And it didn't.
And it didn't, and it did a test out of that, and then it's bounced back up. More clues actually come when you look at the higher time frame, the monthly one, and I show you that on the monthly, right? And this was on a strong downtrend, but as you know, fundamentally oil cannot keep also going down forever. So you can see that over here it took out that it didn't take out that last high, and you can see, but still not getting full confirmation on the volume support there. So that's some things that I would look at for the long term, but still on the upside is looking good, and I'll see if the monthly confirms or not. But the critical level to look, if it doesn't, it's the low over here, 5871. If it does take that out, then you're seeing more downside. If it doesn't, the first level to take out would be, to the upstrend will be 7955. So these are the two levels I'll be looking at.
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you very much, Thiru, for taking us through the long and short term investment strategies there. I hope you've enjoyed this. Any questions, please put them below. We'll get them answered. And also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Whatever you're doing, happy hunting.